Our troubles are they or what they seem.
Hello everyone, Sodo Railway Studios here, and welcome to a brand new video. Since both the third Sonic movie and Sonic X Shadow Generations are right around the corner, I thought I might as well express my thoughts on each of the voices of the iconic character that is Shadow the Hedgehog. So here, without further ado, I'm going to show off my top 3 favourite voices for Shadow. But please remember, this is all my personal opinion. So if you disagree, that's perfectly fine, but just remember to be nice about it. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming in at number 3 is a tie between Kirk Thornton and Ian Hanlon. I know a lot of people aren't particularly fond of Kirk Thornton as Shadow, but honestly, I always quite liked him. And I will say, he has definitely improved over time, especially in Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings. And I'm sure he's going to do just as good in Sonic X Shadow Generations the game. Though I feel like his best performance before that was probably in Forces. As for Ian Hanlon, I quite like his performance in the show. I might not be the hugest fan of Sonic Prime, but even I have to admit, Ian Hanlon does a fantastic job as Shadow, and has great chemistry with Devon Mack. And I'm not just saying that because of the iconic line, which I will not mention because you all know what it is. Anyway, let's continue with the list. At number 2 is David Humphrey. This guy was the voice of Shadow in both Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, and I think he did a fantastic job. For one thing, he really captures the emotional side of Shadow that we don't really see often in the later ones. I'm not surprised that so many people consider David to be the best voice for Shadow, because they probably would have grown up with him, and I do admit, his performance is really good. He manages to capture Shadow's emotions perfectly without sounding too breathy. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if many people considered him the best, because I know there are some people who do. And I love David's voice for Shadow, I just don't think he's as good as my number 1 pick. But before we get to that, I just want to give a quick honourable mention, and that being Keanu Reeves. I would have included him on the list, but obviously we haven't heard enough of his take on Shadow because of the only one trailer. But I'm sure he's going to do great when the film actually comes out. And the number 1 spot goes to Jason Griffith. Yes, Jason Griffith, the guy who voiced Shadow from Sonic X up to Sonic and the Black Knight. I will admit, I wasn't too keen on him in Sonic X, but over time, when I watched more cutscenes of the games, I realised I loved Jason Griffith as Shadow. Especially in Sonic 06. Say what you want about the game itself, but I think he did a fantastic job in that game. And he created my favourite line of Shadow, which is this.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
God, I love that line so much. Anyway, Jason Griffith's take on Shadow is something I really have to praise him for. I might not think he's my favourite Sonic, but he will always be my favourite voice actor for Shadow. Honestly, I can't really see that changing anytime soon. Maybe with Keanu Reeves when the film comes out, I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I want to point out that the editing style in this video was inspired by the one and only Trevor Davis, who I thank for the inspiration. But don't call me a rip-off of him, I'm just following in his footsteps, okay? Anyway, feel free to let me know down in the comments which voice for Shadow is your favourite. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? And also let me know if you want me to do this with more Sonic characters. Until then, thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day.